Look at the pillow on your bed right now. It's soft. It's fluffy. You sink your head into it every single night, and you think this is natural. Now imagine replacing it with a solid block of carved limestone. That sounds like a form of torture. But for thousands of years, the wealthiest people on Earth refused to sleep on anything soft. The first pillows ever invented weren't made of feathers. They were made of rock, and they were designed to keep bugs from crawling into your brain while you slept. So, how did we get here? How did we go from sleeping on solid stone to buying expensive memory foam? And why do we still wake up with more neck pain than our ancestors ever had? Let's start with the reality of your anatomy. The human head is a design flaw. It weighs about 10 to 12 pounds. It is essentially a heavy, awkward bowling ball perfectly balanced on top of a fragile stack of 7 small bones called the cervical spine. During the day, your muscles do the work. They make tiny adjustments every second to keep that bowling ball from snapping your neck. But when you go to sleep, those muscles shut down. They go slack. Gravity takes over. If you are lying on your side on the hard ground and you don't support your head, the bowling ball drops. It pulls those 7 fragile vertebrae completely out of alignment. The muscles stretch. The nerves get pinched. If you sleep like that for 8 hours, you don't just wake up uncomfortable, you wake up paralyzed by pain. For 300,000 years, waking up with a stiff neck wasn't just annoying, it was a death sentence. A hunter who can't turn his head quickly can't see the cave lion stalking him in the tall grass. A gatherer who can't look up can't spot the leopard in the tree. Predators do not care that you slept poorly. If your neck was locked, you were prey. So, early humans had to solve the pillow problem immediately. But they had no foam, they had no fabric, they had no beds, they had the freezing, rock-hard dirt. Their first solution was biological. Before humans invented objects to rest on, they used themselves. If you look at indigenous groups today, like the forest dwellers of the Congo or nomadic tribes in the Amazon, they do not carry pillows. Anthropologist and physiotherapist Michael Tetley spent years studying how these groups sleep. He found that they sleep directly on the ground, often on their sides, using a highly specific posture. They use their own arms as biological pillows. They tuck one arm under their jaw or rest their head perfectly on the bicep, while the other arm acts as a counterbalance. This isn't just convenient, it is a biomechanical masterpiece. Resting the jaw on the arm aligns the cervical spine perfectly straight. It prevents the neck from dipping. But more importantly, the hard pressure of the skull against the arm acts like a natural physical therapy mechanism. It keeps the joints active. It prevents the muscles from atrophy. They don't wake up with stiff necks. Their bodies are rigid, strong, and perfectly calibrated to the ground. But as human brains grew smarter, we started looking for ways to free our arms. We wanted tools. Around 9,000 years ago, in ancient Mesopotamia, humans built the first artificial pillow. And they didn't look for comfort, they looked for elevation. Archaeologists digging through the ruins of early human cities found them. Half-moon-shaped blocks of solid stone, carved to fit the base of the skull. This is the part that is hard for modern people to understand. Why would you choose to sleep on a rock? Because the ground was alive. When you sleep on a modern mattress, you are elevated 3 feet in the air in a sealed, climate-controlled box. When you slept on the floor in ancient Mesopotamia, you were sharing your bedroom with scorpions, centipedes, venomous spiders, and earwigs. If your face was flush against the dirt, your mouth, your nose, and your ears were open doors for insects looking for a warm, dark place to hide. The stone pillow wasn't for a good night's rest. It was a biological security system. It elevated the head just enough to keep the terrifying, crawling realities of the ancient world out of your skull. And it did something else. It kept you cool in the brutal heat of the Middle East and Africa. A soft cushion is a nightmare. Softness wraps around your skin. It traps your body heat. It makes you sweat. Stone disperses heat. A solid marble or wooden headrest allowed air to flow completely around the neck, dropping the body temperature enough to actually fall asleep in a world before air conditioning. This idea that a pillow should be hard completely dominated human history. Let's look at ancient Egypt. If you walk into a museum today, you will see their pillows. They are called where-is. They are elegant, rigid stands made of wood, ivory, or alabaster. The base sat flat on the floor, and a curved pillar held the neck securely in the air. For the Egyptians, the hard headrest was about status and survival. Wealthy Egyptians spent hours having their hair braided, woven, and styled into elaborate, towering designs. You do not spend 4 hours getting your hair built into a masterpiece just to crush it against a mattress. The wooden headrest elevated the skull, allowing the hair to hang untouched in the air while they slept. But it was also deeply spiritual. To the ancients, the head was the seat of life. It was the command center of the soul. Letting your head touch the filthy common ground was an insult to your own existence. They even placed beautifully carved stone headrests in the tombs of the dead to ensure that the spirits would not have their heads separated from their bodies in the afterlife. This preference for hard pillows didn't end in the desert. Travel to ancient China. For thousands of years, right up until the Ming Dynasty, the wealthiest and most powerful families in the empire slept on pillows made of solid ceramic, porcelain, and jade. They thought soft pillows were disgusting. Ancient Chinese medical texts actually warned against sleeping on soft things. They believed that softness stole your energy. They argued that a soft pillow generated too much heat in the brain, causing nightmares, exhaustion, and illness. A hard, cold ceramic pillow, however, was believed to keep the mind sharp. It kept the eyes bright. It aligned the spine and forced the body to remain strong. To them, a soft pillow was a sign of weakness. It was something only given to the sick, the frail, or the dying. A strong human needed a hard surface. So, when did we go soft? When did we invent the fluffy rectangle you sleep on today? It started with the Greeks and the Romans. They were the first to truly master the art of unnecessary luxury. Wealthy Roman patricians looked at the wooden headrests of the Egyptians and decided they didn't want to suffer anymore. They took tightly woven bags of linen and stuffed them with reeds, straw, and for the absolute elite, the down feathers of geese. For the first time in human history, sleep was no longer about surviving the night. It was about indulgence. But here is the catch. For the next 2,000 years, this softness was completely reserved for the ultra-wealthy. If you were a peasant in medieval Europe, you weren't sleeping on feathers. You were sleeping on a wooden bench or directly on the dirt floor with a log or a rolled-up pile of your own filthy clothes under your head. The soft pillow remained a status symbol. It was proof that you were so rich, you didn't have to interact with the hard, brutal reality of the physical world. Everything changed during the Industrial Revolution. Mass production arrived. Suddenly, textiles were cheap. Factories could pump out thousands of cotton bags and stuff them with mass-produced materials. The soft pillow went from a luxury of the Roman elite to a standard item in every single home on Earth. We brought them into our bedrooms. We stacked 2, 3, 4 of them on our beds. We surrounded ourselves with softness, and that is exactly when the pain started. We outsourced our posture to a piece of foam. By giving our heads a perfectly soft, artificially supportive cloud to rest on every single night, we told our neck muscles that they didn't need to work anymore. The biological strength that our ancestors built by pressing their bones against their own arms or against a wooden headrest vanished. Your cervical spine forgot how to hold itself naturally. The muscles weakened. The tendons grew tight. We traded a strong, resilient, bulletproof body for 8 hours of artificial softness. We built an environment so relentlessly comfortable that it literally broke our biology. Look at the pillow on your bed right now. It looks like a luxury. It looks like the ultimate comfort, but it isn't. It's a cast. It is a soft, fluffy cast for a neck that completely forgot how to hold itself up. For 290,000 years, humans slept on the hard earth and woke up ready to fight apex predators. Then we invented memory foam, and now we wake up complaining about the angle of our mattress. We completely conquered the night, but we lost our strength in the process.